more to do with like understanding the framing. It's I can I just read something I wrote?
Yeah,
So
yeah, go for it.
did like an opener thing. So okay, the first one, have you ever heard the phrase "I have no sympathy for dot dot dot"?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Next question, have you heard it introed by "I get it, but I have no sympathy for dot dot dot"? Or does that if you haven't heard it, does that sound like it fits in?
Yeah.
I've
Like
never
I
heard
get
it,
it,
but that sounds
but I don't have sympathy.
contradictory.
Okay, let me move on then. Uh,
No, no, I mean if that's something that you
No,
if
they
that's part
sound
of the
like things that
disagreement.
would have been said.
Oh, sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
I just
like
think it's
what
a misunderstanding of what sympathy is.
word? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Let me move on. Just read the rest
Yeah,
of this, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
we'll
go for it.
Yeah.
break it down. So empathy is a dynamic thing, and my main problem with the opposition to it is, besides wrongly defining it, that many people look at it simplistically or romantically, which is largely why it is confused with sympathy and compassion. Uh, Many imagine, or like many things, but the Trinity, for example, people just haven't put much thought into it and subconsciously imagine that some just have it. It just hits them out of nowhere and boom, they got it. They just see things others can't for reasons we know not of. Pretty much the post-enlightenment psychic who is safe from stake burnings in this modern world. Uh, a lot of other things make up empathy, or maybe instead a lot of steps requiring a lot of skills allow for empathy to be had at the end of a quest or what have you. It's reading the room, tone, and body language, keeping any foreknowledge of that person or situation or whatever it is in context, intently listening and hearing the subtext of what's being said, not just the foretext. Empathy also isn't butterflies and rainbows. Granted, most people understand that suffering can come from deploying too much empathy or from deploying empathy, but I mean it in a different way. It's not just seeing the good in people or seeing why people do things in a positive light to justify them. It's equally to see the bad in people as well, to understand how they became Nazis or serial killers or so on. Empathy is a large part of how detectives solve murders, how interrogators reveal lies, and how negotiators tap into what's driving the gunman or the person on the ledge. This side of empathy must also be juxtaposed with the other at all times, or else it's just naivety, as many criticisms for actually, uh, as many criticize empathy for actually being. And inversely, with only this side, it's just cynicism and seeing the worst in everyone. So you got to juxtapose the seeing the good and the seeing the bad in
Mm.
empathy. It's both of those things are becoming clear to you. Um, Extreme self-awareness is probably the biggest gateway to extreme empathy. Once you become aware of your effect on everything in each moment and how everything's affecting you, you begin to apply that to other people and how everything is affecting them. It sounds obvious and it is a base level, but being intentional about it is a whole other thing, and it's where the fruit is found. Um, in closing, empathy is exactly what this world needs right now, and it is exactly what it is gravely lacking. So that's uh, yeah. I would just define empathy different, um, to where so like if sympathy is this emotional kind, um, then to rightly understand empathy, I think it's important to understand how you have empathy, how you can have empathy. Um, yeah, it's where that's what differentiates it. Is it's a lot of different things coming together to create empathy.